The bullet was meant for him. I saw the laser sight 3 seconds before the trigger pull, a tiny red dot dancing across the chest of the man at the podium. My body moved before my brain caught up, pure muscle memory from a life I'd spent 2 years trying to forget. I launched myself across the stage, colliding with him just as the crack of the rifle split the air. Welcome back. If this story pulled you in, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss what is coming next. I have another unforgettable story dropping tomorrow, and while you're here, jump into the comment section and let me know where you are watching from. I love seeing our community from all over the world. Now, let's go back to it. Pain exploded through my left shoulder. Hot, searing, absolute. We hit the ground hard, his expensive suit jacket bunching under my grip as I rolled us behind the podium. Blood soaked through my shirt immediately, warm and sticky. Stay down, I hissed through gritted teeth. His eyes were wide, shocked but sharp. Lee Min-ho. I'd been watching him for 3 weeks, this businessman who wasn't just a businessman. He didn't panic like civilians do. Instead, he grabbed my arm, assessing the wound with quick efficiency. You're hit. No kidding. The crowd erupted into chaos, screaming, running, then his car exploded. The blast wave rolled across the plaza like a physical wall, shattering windows, flipping tables, sending bodies sprawling. Secondary explosions followed, smaller but just as deadly. Someone had packed that vehicle with enough C4 to level a building. This wasn't just an assassination attempt. This was a message. I forced myself up, pulling Min-ho with me. My left arm hung useless, blood running down to my fingertips. The world tilted, but I shoved the pain into a box in my mind. Old training, old habits. The sniper, I gasped. Second building, 4th floor, eastern corner. Min-ho's head snapped toward the location. You saw the position. 3 seconds before he fired. His expression shifted, something calculating moving behind his eyes. Who are you? Nobody. Nobody doesn't move like that. I didn't answer. I was already scanning for secondary threats, and I found them. 2 of Min-ho's security guards were turning, raising their weapons not at the crowd but at us. At him. Your men, I said. 3 o'clock, they're compromised. Min-ho turned, saw what I saw, and his face went cold. Absolutely cold. Traitors. The first guard fired. Min-ho was already moving, faster than I expected, yanking a pistol from an ankle holster I hadn't known he carried. He put 2 rounds center mass into the first shooter before the man could adjust his aim. The second guard took cover behind an overturned table, returning fire. Another of Min-ho's men, older, graying at the temples, appeared from the chaos. He put 3 rounds into the second traitor's position, forcing him to retreat. A younger guard joined us, weapon up, covering our exit. Mr. Lee, we need to move now. Min-ho grabbed my good arm. Can you run? Can you keep up? Despite everything, he almost smiled. Try me. We ran. The plaza was pure pandemonium. Bodies everywhere, some moving, some not. Smoke billowed from the burning car. My shoulder screamed with every step, blood loss making my vision swim, but I kept my feet under me. Special operations training doesn't leave you just because you want it to. The black SUV was waiting at the plaza's edge, engine running. The older guard yanked the door open. Ins now. I dove into the back seat, Min-ho right behind me. The younger guard jumped into the passenger seat while the older one took the wheel. We were moving before the doors fully closed. Hospital, the younger guard said, looking back at my shoulder with concern. No, Min-ho said firmly. They'll be watching every hospital in the city. I have a private doctor. I don't need, I started, but the world tilted sideways. Blood loss, shock setting in. Min-ho caught me before I slumped completely. Yes, you do. You took a bullet for me. The least I can do is keep you alive. Why? I managed. You don't know me. No, but I know operators when I see them. Military, special forces. His eyes traced the way I'd moved, the way I'd identified threats. You're not just some bystander who got lucky. I didn't answer, couldn't answer. Because he was right, and that was exactly the problem. Sang-min, Min-ho said to the older guard driving. Status. 3 vehicles in pursuit, sir. They're coordinated, professional. Of course they are. Min-ho's jaw tightened. De-young didn't send amateurs. De-young, I asked, forcing my eyes to focus. My second in command, or he was until about 20 minutes ago. Min-ho's voice was ice. Apparently, he's decided it's time for new leadership. The SUV swerved hard, throwing me against the door. Pain exploded through my shoulder again, and I bit back a scream. Sorry, Sang-min called back. They're trying to box us in. I forced myself upright, looking through the rear window. 3 black sedans moving in formation, tactical driving. These weren't street thugs. Industrial district, I said. My voice sounded far away. 2 blocks east, narrow alleys forced them to single file. Min-ho studied me. You're giving tactical advice while bleeding out. Multitasking. I pressed my hand against the wound, trying to slow the bleeding. You want to live or you want to question my resume? Fair point. Sang-min, do what she says. Before we go further into this nightmare, if you're enjoying this story, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling me what you think happens next. Trust me, you won't want to miss where this goes. The SUV screamed around a corner, tires squealing. We were heading into Seoul's old industrial sector, abandoned warehouses and narrow service roads. Exactly what we needed. There, I pointed with my good arm. That alley, take it fast. Sang-min didn't hesitate. We shot into the narrow passage, brick walls flashing by on both sides. Behind us, I heard the screech of brakes as our pursuers tried to follow. They can only come through one at a time now, I said. That's the advantage. And when we stop, the younger guard asked. I met his eyes in the rearview mirror. Then we make them regret following us. Sang-min brought the SUV to a controlled stop at the alley's midpoint, positioning us with clear sightlines in both directions. The first pursuer's vehicle appeared at the entrance within seconds, exactly as I'd predicted. Out, Min-ho ordered. Defensive positions. The younger guard, who I'd heard called Jai-woo, helped me from the vehicle. Everything spun for a moment, but I locked my knees and stayed upright. My left arm was useless, but my right hand still worked. Jai-woo handed me a pistol without asking questions. Can you shoot? He asked quietly. Better than most people with 2 working arms. He believed me. Something in my eyes, maybe. Or the way I'd checked the magazine and chamber by pure reflex. We took positions behind the SUV. Min-ho crouched beside me, his own weapon ready. Sang-min covered the rear approach while Jai-woo watched our flank. Professional. Disciplined. These weren't typical corporate security guards. Who are you people? I muttered. I could ask you the same question, Min-ho replied. But right now, I'm more interested in surviving the next 5 minutes. The first sedan stopped at the alley entrance. Doors opened. 4 men emerged armed with automatic weapons, military grade, expensive. De-young wasn't playing around. They're testing us, I said, seeing if we'll fire first. Will we? No, let them commit. Let them think they have control. Min-ho glanced at me. You've done this before. More times than I want to remember. The attackers advanced, using the alley walls for cover. Good technique. They'd been trained, probably by someone like me. That thought made my stomach turn. 50 meters, Sang-min called softly. Hold, I said. 40 meters. Hold. Min-ho trusted me. I could feel it in the way he waited, weapon ready but not firing. Trust from a man I'd met 5 minutes ago while saving his life. Strange how war creates instant bonds. 30 meters, they're spreading out. Now, I said. We opened fire simultaneously. The enclosed space turned into a kill box. The attackers had committed to the advance, leaving themselves exposed. My first shot took down the lead man. Min-ho's second round caught another in the shoulder, spinning him around. Sang-min's controlled bursts from the rear kept them from retreating cleanly. My vision blurred, blood loss. I blinked hard, forced focus, fired again. The pistol's recoil jarred my injured shoulder and I nearly screamed, but I kept shooting. Muscle memory. Training. The things you can't forget no matter how hard you try. Jai-woo moved like water, flanking left and catching 2 attackers by surprise. He was young but skilled, very skilled. 3 quick shots and both men went down. Then my shoulder gave out completely. The pistol dropped from my numb fingers and I collapsed against the SUV's tire, gasping. Alex, Minho was beside me instantly, applying pressure to the wound. Stay with me. I'm here, I managed. Is it clear? Sang Min. 4 down, the older man reported. 1 retreating, should I pursue? No, Minho's voice was firm. Let him run, let him report back what happened here. I understood immediately. You want Young to know you're not easy prey. Exactly. He looked at me with something like respect. What's your real name, and don't say nobody. Alex Chen. The words felt strange after 2 years of silence. Captain Alex Chen, U.S. Army Special Operations, officially dead for 26 months. His eyebrows rose. Officially dead. Long story, really long. My head lolled back against the vehicle. You should leave me, I'm a liability now. Not happening. Minho turned to Jai-woo. Call Dr. Han. Tell him we're coming in hot with a GSW heavy blood loss. Tell him to have the surgical suite ready. Sir, if we go to any of our regular facilities. Not regular, the private location, the one only I know about. Jai-woo nodded and made the call. I tried to focus, tried to stay conscious, but darkness kept creeping in at the edges. Memories I'd buried came flooding back. Afghanistan, the ambush, Marcus's face as he pushed me behind cover, taking the bullets meant for me. The entire team gone in 40 seconds of betrayal. Alex, Minho's voice cut through the fog. Stay awake, talk to me. Why were you at that plaza? Wasn't supposed to be, I whispered. Just passing through. Saw the security setup, noticed it was wrong. Too many gaps, professional gaps. So you stayed to watch. Old habits, I coughed, tasted copper. Saw the sniper's laser, saw your guards out of position. Body moved before brain caught up. You saved my life. Yeah, well, don't make a habit of needing it. He actually laughed, short and sharp. I'll try, can you stand? Maybe, probably not. Sang Min returned from checking the fallen attackers. All dead except the runner. They're carrying no identification, but the weapons are Chinese military issue. Recent. De Young's new friends, Minho said bitterly. He's been making connections I didn't approve. Now I know why. Jai-woo helped me to my feet. The world spun violently, and I would have fallen if he hadn't caught me. We got back into the SUV, me stretched across the back seat with Minho applying constant pressure to my shoulder. How far to this doctor? I asked. 20 minutes if traffic cooperates. And if De Young's people find us first? Then we improvise. He met my eyes. You're good at that, I'm guessing. Used to be. I closed my eyes. Before everyone I tried to save ended up dead. That's not going to happen today. You don't know that. No, he agreed, but I'm a stubborn bastard, ask anyone. Sang Min drove fast but not recklessly, taking side streets and avoiding main thoroughfares. Professional evasion. These people knew their business. Who are you really? I asked Minho. Businessmen don't have private surgical suites and guards who shoot like special forces. He was quiet for a moment. My family's organization has many interests, some legitimate, some less so. I've been trying to reform things, move away from the violence. De Young and his faction don't agree with that direction. So this is a coup. This is survival, for both of us now. I understood what he meant. By saving him, by being seen, I'd destroyed 2 years of careful invisibility. Whatever enemies I'd been hiding from would know I was alive, would know where to find me. I'm sorry, I said quietly. For what? For dragging you deeper into my mess, because they'll come for you now too, the people who want me dead. Minho adjusted the pressure on my wound, his expression unreadable. Then I suppose we'll have to make sure they fail, together. You don't understand what you're offering. Try me. I looked at him, really looked. He was younger than I'd thought initially, maybe mid-30s. Sharp features, intelligent eyes, and something harder underneath the business exterior. A man who'd seen violence, who'd survived it. The people who want me dead, I said slowly. They're CIA, black operations. They killed my entire team to cover up an illegal weapons program. They'll kill anyone connected to me without hesitation. He didn't flinch. Then it's fortunate I'm already marked for death. At least this way, I'll have experienced help staying alive. Despite everything, I almost smiled. You're insane. Probably, but I'm also your best option right now, and you're mine, so let's make the most of it. Dr. Hand's facility wasn't what I expected. No sterile hospital smell, no bright lights. Instead, we pulled into an underground garage beneath what looked like an abandoned textile factory in the Seongdong district. The entrance sealed behind us with heavy steel doors. Secure location, Sang-min announced. No surveillance, no digital footprint. Dr. Han has been with Mr. Lee's family for 30 years. 30 years of what? I asked as they helped me from the vehicle. Keeping secrets, Min-ho said simply. Dr. Han himself appeared from an elevator, a thin man in his 60s with steady hands and sharp eyes. He took one look at my shoulder and barked orders in rapid Korean. Within seconds, I was on a gurney being wheeled into a surprisingly well-equipped surgical suite. Captain Chen, Dr. Han said in perfect English, I need you to stay conscious for a few more minutes. Can you do that? Done harder things. I believe you. He cut away my blood-soaked shirt, exposing not just the fresh gunshot wound but the collection of scars beneath. His expression shifted slightly. You've been shot before, multiple times. Occupational hazard. Knife wounds, shrapnel scarring, burns. He met my eyes. You've lived a violent life. Working on retiring from it. How's that going? I gestured weakly at the bullet hole in my shoulder. Not great. He smiled grimly and began prepping for surgery. I'm going to sedate you now. When you wake up, we'll talk about your retirement plans. The last thing I saw before the drugs pulled me under was Min-ho standing in the doorway, watching me with an expression I couldn't quite read. Concern, maybe, or calculation. In my line of work, those two things often look the same. I dreamed of Afghanistan, always Afghanistan. The safe house that wasn't safe. Marcus shouting for me to run. The sound of helicopter rotors that should have been our extraction but carried our executioners instead. Director James Reeves's voice on the radio, cold and professional, ordering the termination of every witness to his illegal operation. Target Alpha through Echo, eliminate with extreme prejudice, make it look like enemy action. We'd trusted him, followed his orders into that ambush, and they'd slaughtered us for it. I woke up screaming. Hands held me down, gentle but firm. Dr. Hand's voice cut through the panic. Alex, you're safe, you're in Seoul. The surgery went well. My shoulder throbbed with deep, grinding pain, but it was manageable. Professional pain management. I forced my breathing to slow, forced the memories back into their boxes. How long was I out? 6 hours. It's nearly midnight. 6 hours. Anything could have happened in 6 hours. Where's Min-ho? Dealing with the aftermath of today's events. Dr. Han checked my IV, adjusted something. He asked me to tell you that you're safe here, that no one knows this location. That's what we thought in Kandahar too. I don't know what happened to you, Captain Chen, but I know survival when I see it. You're still here, still fighting. That counts for something. I wanted to believe him, wanted to believe I could stop running. But 2 years of paranoia don't disappear overnight. The door opened and Min-ho entered, looking exhausted. His expensive suit was gone, replaced by tactical clothing. Blood stained his sleeve. You're hurt, I said. Scratch, nothing like your fashion statement. He pulled up a chair beside the bed. We need to talk. I'm a captive audience. De-young has made his move official. He called a meeting of all territory commanders, forced them to declare loyalty. Most sided with him out of fear or ambition. How many stayed loyal to you? 4 commanders out of 15, and maybe a dozen soldiers total, including Sang Min and Jai Woo. His expression was dark. I've lost everything in 6 hours. Not everything, you're still breathing. For now, he leaned forward. De Jong is already spreading the story, claims I was targeted by rival organizations because of my weak leadership, says the old ways were better. Violence, territory wars, protection rackets, and the assassination attempt. He's spinning it as proof that my reforms made us vulnerable. Min Ho's jaw tightened. He's good, I'll give him that. He's turning my survival into a liability. I understood the play, classic insurgent tactics. So what's your move? That depends on you. On me. You're a trained military strategist. You read that ambush before it happened. You turned a pursuit into a kill box in seconds. You're exactly what I need to take back what's mine. I'm a liability, I corrected. Everyone around me dies, remember. Everyone around me is dying too. At least with you, I have a chance. He paused. De Jong is ruthless but predictable. He thinks in traditional terms. Territory, force, intimidation. You think differently. You want me to help you win a gang war. I want you to help me survive long enough to expose De Jong for what he is. A traitor who brought in foreign muscle to execute a coup. Min Ho's eyes were intense. And in exchange, I'll help you. Help me how? You said CIA wanted you dead. Director James Reeves, you called him. I have connections, resources, information networks. Help me deal with De Jong, and I'll help you prove Reeves betrayed your team. My heart rate kicked up. The monitors beside the bed beeped faster. You can't touch Reeves. He's untouchable. Everyone has pressure points. Everyone has secrets. Min Ho leaned back. I've been researching you for the last 4 hours, Captain Chen, or what little exists about you. Most of your service record is classified, but I found the obituary, the funeral, the closed casket ceremony 2 years ago. How did you? I have very good hackers. What I want to know is why you're dead. Why your entire team is listed as KIA in a Taliban ambush when you're very much alive. I stared at him. This man I'd known for less than a day had already dug deeper into my past than anyone should have been able to. That made him either incredibly dangerous or incredibly useful. Maybe both. Reeves ran an illegal arms program, I said quietly, selling advanced U.S. weapons technology to whoever paid enough. My team stumbled onto evidence during a routine operation. We reported it up the chain. Reeves was the chain. So he eliminated the witnesses. Sent us into an ambush, called in a strike team that was supposed to be our extraction, killed everyone but me. The memories threatened to overwhelm me again. Marcus, my partner, he saw it coming 2 seconds before it happened, pushed me behind cover, took the bullets meant for me. How did you escape? Played dead, waited until they left, crawled 3 miles to a village, got smuggled out by locals who owed me a favor from a previous op. I closed my eyes. Spent 4 months in a Pakistani field hospital. When I was strong enough, I disappeared. New identity, new life, became nobody. Until today. Until today, I opened my eyes. By saving you, I've revealed myself. Reeves will know I'm alive within 48 hours. He'll send someone. Then we'd better move fast. Min Ho stood. De Jong is holding a public gathering tomorrow night. All the commanders, all their soldiers. He's going to cement his power, make his leadership official. Public gathering is an opportunity. That's what I thought, but I need a strategy, something he won't see coming. My mind was already working, falling into old patterns. Tactical analysis, enemy psychology, asymmetric warfare. You can't match his numbers, going in with force fails. So what do? We make him look weak. You said he's selling the narrative that you're soft, that the old violent ways were better. We flip that. Show the commanders that De Jong quote-s recklessness got you nearly killed, that his coup has attracted dangerous attention. Min Ho's eyes lit up. Make them question his judgment. Exactly. Fear is powerful, but doubt is more so. If we can make them doubt Da Young quote-s ability to lead, to protect them, some will waver. And then we exploit the cracks. I tried to sit up, winced at the pain. But we'll need information. Who's really loyal to Da Young? Who's just scared? Who's ambitious enough to turn if offered the right deal? I can get that information. Good, because we've got maybe 24 hours before this gets worse. As if on cue, alarms blared through the facility. Sang-min burst through the door, weapon drawn. Armed intrusion, ground level, at least 6 hostiles. How did they find us? Min-ho demanded. Doesn't matter now. I was already pulling the IV from my arm, ignoring Dr. Han's protests. We need to move. You can't fight, Dr. Han said. You're barely. Watch me. I slid off the bed, testing my legs. They held, barely. Where's my weapon? Jai-woo appeared with a pistol and spare magazines. Can you shoot? We're about to find out. I checked the weapon one-handed. Evacuation route. Service elevator to the sub-level, Sang-min said. Leads to the old factory tunnels, multiple exits. Then that's where we go, now. We moved as a unit. Min-ho took point with Sang-min, Jai-woo covered our rear, and I stayed in the middle with Dr. Han, my good arm supporting the pistol. Every step sent pain radiating through my shoulder, but adrenaline was a beautiful thing. The sound of gunfire echoed from above. Heavy automatic fire. These weren't amateurs. They're clearing rooms, I said. Military tactics. They'll reach us in 3 minutes, maybe less. The elevator's just ahead, Min-ho said. We rounded a corner, and there it was, an old industrial lift that looked like it hadn't been used in decades. Perfect camouflage. Sang-min hit the call button. Nothing happened. They've cut the power, Jai-woo said. Emergency manual release. Dr. Han moved to a wall panel. Old system, independent mechanism. Gunfire was getting closer. I could hear boots on metal stairs, commands being shouted in English. Not Korean, English. My blood went cold. Min-ho, I said quietly. These aren't De Young's people. He looked at me. How do you know? Because they're speaking English. Because they're using American tactical formations. I turned to face the corridor we just left. These are Reeves's people. They're here for me. Then they'll have to go through us first. The loyalty in his voice was almost touching. Almost enough to make me forget that everyone I tried to protect ended up dead. Dr. Han got the elevator doors open manually. The car was there, accessible. Inside, quickly. We piled in. Dr. Han started working the manual descent mechanism, a hand crank that looked older than all of us combined. The elevator began moving, slow but steady. They'll know where we're going, I said. They'll cut us off at the bottom. Not if we slow them down. Min-ho looked at Sang-min. Can you buy us time? The older man nodded grimly. I'll hold the corridor. Give you 3 minutes, maybe 4. Sang-min, no. Jai-woo started. Someone has to, and I'm the oldest, the slowest. This is my choice. He gripped Jai-woo's shoulder. Protect Mr. Lee, make me proud. Before anyone could argue, Sang-min stepped out of the elevator. The doors began grinding closed. The last thing I saw was him taking position at the corridor junction, weapon ready, face calm. Then we heard the gunfire. Sang-min's weapon barked in controlled bursts. Return fire hammered back, deafening in the enclosed space. Jai-woo's face was pale, jaw clenched. Min-ho stared at the closed elevator doors like he could see through them. The gunfire continued. 30 seconds, 45, a full minute. Then silence. He's down, I said softly. Nobody argued. The elevator reached the sublevel with a grinding thud. We emerged into a network of old factory tunnels, brick and concrete, lit by emergency lighting that barely worked. Water dripped somewhere in the darkness. Which way? Min-ho asked. Dr. Han pointed. East Tunnel leads to an exit 3 blocks from here, comes out in an old market district. They'll be watching that exit, I said. If they found this location, they know the escape routes. So what do we do? I thought fast, running scenarios. We split up. Dr. Han takes the east tunnel, makes noise, draws attention. They'll assume that's us trying to escape. And us. We go west, find another way out, regroup somewhere they won't expect. I can't ask Dr. Han to be a decoy, Min-ho protested. You're not asking, I'm volunteering. The doctor's voice was firm. I'm an old man who's lived a full life. You three are young, you have things to finish. Doctor. Besides, I'm unarmed and clearly medical personnel. They won't shoot me. International rules even for black operations. He smiled sadly. Probably. There wasn't time to argue. Boots were pounding on metal somewhere above us. They'd gotten through Sang-min. They were coming. Dr. Han started down the east tunnel at a run, making plenty of noise. Within seconds, we heard shouts above, movement tracking his direction. Move, I said. We went west, running through the darkness. My shoulder screamed. Blood was seeping through the bandages. I ignored it. Pain was just information. Information could be managed. The west tunnel branched multiple times. We took random turns, trying to lose any pursuit. Finally, we emerged through a rusted door into an alley behind what looked like an abandoned restaurant. We need transportation, Jai-woo said. And somewhere to hide. Min-ho was breathing hard. All my safe houses might be compromised. If Reeves's people found the doctor's facility, they might know about the others. Then we need to find somewhere they don't know about, I said. Somewhere completely off the grid. I know a place, Jai-woo said quietly. My grandmother's apartment, Hongdae District. Nobody knows about it. I've kept her existence completely separate from my work. Will she accept us, showing up covered in blood at midnight? She's seen worse. She was a resistance fighter in her youth. She'll understand. We stole a car, old and nondescript. Jai-woo drove while Min-ho and I slumped in the back, trying to look like drunk passengers coming home late. Standard counter-surveillance. The streets of Seoul blurred past. Beautiful city. Bright lights. Normal people living normal lives. I'd almost forgotten what that looked like. Alex, Min-ho said. Who did Reeves send? Do you know them? I'd been dreading that question. Based on the tactics, the equipment, the speed they found us, it's a priority team, probably someone I trained with. Someone you know. Someone I trusted, once. I closed my eyes. There's only one operative I know who could track me this fast, Sarah Chen. Relation. Former teammate, former friend. I thought she died in the ambush. If she's alive and working for Reeves. I didn't finish. Didn't need to. Then she was part of the betrayal from the beginning. Min-ho finished for me. Yeah. My phone, which I'd kept off for 2 years, suddenly vibrated. I turned it on in the hospital's stupid mistake born of medication and exhaustion. Now someone was calling. Unknown number. Don't answer it, Jai-woo said. I answered it. Hello, Alex, Sarah's voice, exactly as I remembered. Surprised to hear from me. Sarah, you're alive. So are you. Isn't that funny? 2 survivors from a team that was supposed to be completely eliminated. Her tone was light, conversational, like we were catching up over coffee. You've been busy today. Saving random businessmen. Getting shot. Making a mess of a perfectly good operation. Your operation was killing an innocent man. Lee Min-ho is hardly innocent, but that's beside the point. I heard her smile. I have a proposal for you. Meet me tomorrow at noon, Dongdaemun Park. Come alone. We'll talk about old times. Not interested in your proposals. Then let me make it more interesting. We have 4 of Min-ho's people, including a young guard named Kai Jun who's been very brave despite the rather intense interrogation. And we know where Dr. Han is heading. 1 word from me and he disappears forever. My stomach clenched. Let them go, this is between us. Nothing is just between us anymore, Alex. You involved yourself in politics way above your pay grade when you shielded Min-ho. Now you're part of a much larger game. Her voice hardened. Noon tomorrow, Dongdaemun Park, or I start sending Min-ho pieces of his people until you comply. Your choice. The line went dead. What did she say? Min-ho asked. I told him all of it. When I finished, his face was stone. Kai-jun is 23 years old, he said quietly. He joined my organization to pay for his sister's medical treatments. He's loyal, brave, everything De-young isn't. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, be ready. He met my eyes. Because we're not surrendering. We're going to get our people back and make Sarah Chen regret ever crossing us. She's CIA Black Ops. She has resources, training, backup. And you have me, and you have experience she thinks is gone. Min-ho's expression was fierce. She thinks you're the same person she betrayed. Prove her wrong. Jai-woo pulled up to a modest apartment building in a quiet neighborhood. We're here. My grandmother's apartment. We'll be safe tonight. Tonight, I agreed. But tomorrow, everything changes. We climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor. Jai-woo knocked softly, a specific pattern. The door opened to reveal a tiny elderly woman with sharp eyes that immediately assessed our injuries and circumstances. Grandmother, Jai-woo said in Korean, we need sanctuary. She looked at each of us, her gaze lingering on me. Then she stepped aside. Come in, quickly. You're bleeding on my floor. Jai-woo's grandmother, who insisted we call her Halmoni, was 92 years old and tougher than most soldiers I'd served with. She had us patched, fed, and hidden within 20 minutes, all while asking no questions we weren't ready to answer. Your shoulder needs redressing, she said to me in accented but clear English, examining Dr. Hand's work with a critical eye. The stitches are good, but you're bleeding again. You pushed too hard. Had to move fast. I know about moving fast, about running, about fighting. Her weathered hands were gentle as she replaced the bandages. I fought the Japanese occupation. Later, I helped people escape the north. I know what it looks like when someone is being hunted. We won't bring trouble to your home. Too late, trouble is already here. She smiled, but her eyes were sad. But trouble has always found me. I've learned to handle it. Min-ho stood at the window, watching the street below through a gap in the curtains. No movement, no surveillance I can see. They don't know about this place, Jai-woo said. I've kept it completely separate, never mentioned it to anyone in the organization. Good, Min-ho turned to face us. We have 7 hours until Sarah's deadline. We need a plan. The obvious play is to not show up, I said. We run, regroup somewhere else, hit De-young's gathering tonight and deal with Sarah later. She'll kill Kai-jun and the others. Probably, and then she'll hunt us anyway. I met his eyes. I'm not saying it's right, I'm saying it's tactical, sacrificing 4 to save dozens at De-young's event tonight. Is that what you'd do? I thought of Marcus, of the team I'd lost, of everyone who'd died because I survived. No, I'd try to save everyone and probably get us all killed, but I'm not known for my tactical restraint when emotions are involved. Min-ho almost smiled. Then we're a good match, because I'm not leaving my people to die either. So we walk into Sarah's trap. No, we spring the trap on our terms. He sat down, wincing at his own injuries. You know how she thinks, how she operates. What's her real objective here? I thought it through. She wants me dead, obviously. But more than that, she wants to know what I know. What evidence I might have against Reeves, if I've told anyone about the weapons program. So the meeting is partly intelligence gathering. And partly psychological warfare. She's trying to break me, make me feel helpless, remind me that everyone around me dies. I clenched my jaw. It's working. Don't let it, Jai-woo spoke up. Sang-min chose his death. He bought us time willingly. That's not your fault. He died because I was there. He died because De-young betrayed us, because Sarah Chen came hunting. Those are their choices, their actions, not yours. His young face was fierce. Don't dishonor his sacrifice by taking responsibility for their evil. The kid had a point. I nodded slowly. So, Min-ho said, Sarah expects you alone at noon. What if we give her that, but with modifications? I'm listening. You go to the meeting, but we position ourselves around the park. Snipers, overwatch, escape routes. If it goes south, we extract you. She'll have the same setup, probably better. Then we need an advantage she won't expect. Minho pulled out his phone. I have a contact, someone who owes me significantly. He has access to Seoul's CCTV system, live feeds, archives, everything. You want to hack the city's surveillance. I want to know every person Sarah has positioned around that park, every vehicle, every movement. We'll see the trap before we step into it. It was risky, incredibly risky, but it was also better than walking in blind. Okay, I said, but there's another problem. De Jong's gathering is at 8 tonight. If we're dealing with Sarah at noon, we have less than 8 hours to plan, execute, and recover before hitting the second target. Can't be done, Jaiwoo said. Has to be done. Minho's voice was flat. If we don't show at De Jong's gathering, he solidifies power. If we don't deal with Sarah, she kills our people and continues hunting us. We have to handle both. Then we split resources, I said, thinking it through. Minimal team for Sarah. Noon is intelligence gathering anyway. She won't kill me immediately, she wants answers. That gives us time. Time for what? For you to approach De Jong's gathering separately, plant doubt, work the political angle we discussed. I looked at Minho. Sarah wants me, you're secondary, that's an advantage. While I'm keeping her attention, you're undermining De Jong. She'll have people watching me too. Probably, but she can't be everywhere. Her primary focus is me, use that. I paused. Unless you have a better idea. He didn't, none of us did. It was a terrible plan, full of holes and assumptions. But it was the only plan we had. Halmoni brought us tea and rice. You should eat, rest. You can't fight on empty stomachs and exhausted minds. There's no time, Minho started. There's always time to eat, always time to think clearly. She set the food down with finality. My Jaiwoo tells me you're trying to save people, to fight evil men. You can't do that if you collapse from exhaustion or hunger. She was right, frustratingly right. We ate in silence, each lost in our own thoughts. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Tick-tock, Alex. Time is running out for your new friends. I'm sending you a little motivation. The attached video made my stomach turn. Kai Jun, tied to a chair, bloodied but defiant. Sarah's voice off camera, clinical and cold. Tell me, Kai Jun, why do you serve Lee Minho? What makes him worth dying for? He's a good man. Kai Jun's voice was hoarse but steady. He's trying to change things, make things better. Better? Your organization traffics in violence and corruption. How is that better? Better than De Jong, better than people like you. The sound of impact. Kai Jun's head snapped to the side. When the camera moved, I could see the new bruise forming. Wrong answer. Let's try again. I stopped the video. Couldn't watch more. Minho's face was white with rage. 7 hours, he said quietly. She has him for 7 more hours. We'll get him back. Promise me. I shouldn't have. Promises like that get people killed. But I looked at this man who'd saved my life, who'd trusted me despite having every reason not to, and I made a promise I might not be able to keep. I promise, we get them all back. Hey, if you're still watching, do me a favor and drop a like on this video. Share it with someone who loves intense action stories, and comment below what you think Alex should do next. Your engagement really helps the channel grow. Jaiwoo's phone rang. He answered, listened, his face going pale. Understood, thank you. He hung up. That was my contact in the police force. They found Dr. Han. Where? I asked. Dongdaemun Park, the same place Sarah wants to meet you. Jaiwoo's voice shook. They're calling it a suicide, but the message is clear. What message? He had a note pinned to his chest. Nobody saves anyone. Everyone dies. See you at noon. The room went silent. Dr. Han, who'd helped me, who'd volunteered to be a decoy, was dead. Another person who'd paid the price for my existence. I'm done running, I said quietly. I'm done hiding. Sarah wants to play psychological games. Fine, let's play. What are you thinking? Minho asked. I'm thinking Sarah made a mistake. She's trying to break me with fear, trying to isolate me, make me believe I'm helpless. I stood up, testing my shoulder. still hurt but manageable. But fear is a two-way street, and I know things about Sarah Chen she probably hopes I forgot. Like what? Like she has a sister, a younger sister named Julie who lives in California, completely unaware of Sarah's real job. Like Sarah's greatest fear has always been someone threatening her family. I met Min-ho's eyes. Like she keeps a photo of her mother in her wallet, even though her mother died 10 years ago. You're going to threaten her family. No, I'm going to remind her that I could, that if I wanted to, I know exactly how to hurt her the way she's hurting us. I grabbed my jacket. She thinks I'm the same person from 2 years ago, the one who followed rules, who tried to save everyone. She doesn't know what surviving does to you, what losing everyone teaches you. Which is that sometimes the only way to save people is to become someone they're afraid of. Min-ho studied me for a long moment. You're going to go dark, full operator mode. I'm going to show Sarah Chen what she created when she betrayed us, when she left me for dead. I checked my weapon, my gear. She wants to meet at noon. Perfect. Gives us time to set up properly. What do you need? Everything you've got. Weapons, surveillance equipment, extraction vehicles. And I need your hacker friend to get me every detail about that park. Sight lines, blind spots, underground access, everything. Done. Min-ho was already making calls. Jai-woo approached me quietly. Alex, don't lose yourself doing this. Don't become like them. Maybe I already am like them. Maybe I always was, and the only difference is I had better justification. I softened slightly. But I appreciate the concern, kid. Hold on to that. The world needs people who still care about lines they won't cross. What about you? I crossed those lines the day I decided to survive when everyone else died. Now I'm just making sure their deaths meant something. By 5 in the morning, we had a complete tactical overview of Dongdaemun Park. Min-ho's hacker friend, someone he called only Ghost, had delivered floor plans, CCTV feeds, thermal imaging overlays, and a breakdown of every entrance and exit within a quarter-mile radius. Sarah will position snipers here, here, and here, I said, marking the map. High ground, clear sight lines to the central meeting point, multiple escape routes, standard Black Ops setup. How do we counter that? Jai-woo asked. We don't, we let her have them. I marked different positions. We position ourselves lower, closer, not trying to outsnipe her team, but to extract me fast if things go wrong. Urban environment favors quick movement over long-range precision. Min-ho nodded. Ghost can also loop CCTV feeds. Give us a few minutes of Ghost footage while we move into position. Good, we'll need that. I looked at the timeline. Sarah wants me there at noon. I'll arrive at 11:50. Give her less time to adjust if she spots our preparation. And the conversation itself. I play it straight. Answer some questions, deflect others. Mainly, I'm buying time and gathering intelligence. I need to know where she's holding Kai-jun and the others. Once I have that, we extract them before the De-young event. That's a lot to accomplish in 8 hours. It is, which is why we need perfect execution. I turned to Jai-woo. You're our mobility asset. Fast car, multiple routes planned, ready to move the second I signal. I won't let you down. I know you won't. I looked at Min-ho. You're our political weapon. While I'm handling Sarah, you need to make contact with the wavering commanders. Plant the seeds we discussed. Make them question De-young's judgment. I'll need to move carefully. If De-young knows I'm alive and active, he'll accelerate his timeline. Let him know, let him panic. I smiled coldly. Panicked people make mistakes. We capitalize on those mistakes. We spent the next hour prepping equipment. Body armor, concealed weapons, communication devices. Halmoni watched from the kitchen, her expression unreadable. You remind me of someone, she said to me as I checked my gear. Yeah, who? Myself, 60 years ago. Same look in the eyes, same weight on the shoulders. She poured more tea. I killed 17 Japanese soldiers during the occupation. 17 men who probably had families, had reasons they thought were good. It took me many years to make peace with that. Did you make peace with it? No, but I learned to carry it, to use it to protect others instead of destroying myself. She touched my injured shoulder gently. Don't let your ghosts control you. They're passengers, not drivers. What if the ghosts are all that's keeping me alive? Then you're already dead. You just haven't stopped moving yet. Her words hit harder than I wanted to admit. I nodded slowly, unable to trust my voice. By 10:30, we were in position. Jai-woo had me in a stolen delivery van 2 blocks from the park. Min-ho was across the city, beginning his careful approach to neutral commanders. Ghost was monitoring CCTV feeds and feeding us real-time intelligence through encrypted channels. 3 suspicious vehicles around the park perimeter. Ghost's distorted voice came through our earpieces. 2 sedans, 1 van, all have been stationary for over an hour, likely Sarah's support teams. Mark them, I said. Jai-woo, you have those positions. Confirmed. I can avoid all 3 on extraction. Good. I checked my watch. 11:45. I'm moving in 5 minutes. Alex, Min-ho's voice came through. I just made contact with Commander Park. He's nervous. De-young threatened his family if he doesn't attend tonight's ceremony. That's fear, not loyalty. Exploit it. Working on it. Park says De-young has been acting erratic, making decisions without consulting anyone. Brought in foreign advisors nobody knows. Foreign advisors. His words could be Sarah's team, could be whoever's backing this coup. That was new information, concerning information. Stay on it, find out who's really pulling De-young's strings. Will do. Good luck with Sarah. Luck is for people who don't plan properly. I stood, testing my shoulder one more time. Still hurt, but functional. Going silent in 3 minutes. If you don't hear from me by 12:15, execute extraction protocol. Understood. Be careful. I left the van and walked toward the park. Morning in Seoul was beautiful, the city waking up to autumn sunshine. Normal people doing normal things. A woman walking her dog. Students hurrying to class. Elderly men practicing Tai Chi in the park. And somewhere in this peaceful scene, a trained killer was waiting for me. I spotted the first watcher at the park entrance. Young guy, too alert, eyes scanning constantly. Amateur tell. Sarah had recruited local assets, probably through De-young's organization. That was useful information. The second watcher was better, a woman pretending to read on a bench, but her book was upside down. Another tell. These weren't Sarah's A-team. She was holding her best operatives in reserve. The central meeting point was a small pavilion near the park's pond. Sarah sat on a bench, looking exactly as I remembered. Dark hair pulled back, athletic build, casual clothes that hid body armor. She smiled when she saw me. Alex Chen, back from the dead, you look terrible. You look like a traitor. Funny how that works. She laughed. Still so righteous, still so sure of your moral superiority. That's what got the team killed, you know. No, your betrayal got them killed. Reeves's corruption got them killed. I sat down across from her, maintaining distance. I was just stupid enough to trust you. Trust is overrated in our line of work. So is loyalty, apparently. Loyalty to what? A government that disavows us the second things go wrong. A system that uses us and throws us away. Sarah leaned forward. Reeves offered me something better. Security, money, a future that doesn't end with a flag-draped coffin and a redacted service record. He offered you blood money. Every dollar is bought with betrayed soldiers and illegal weapons sales. And yet, I'm alive and they're dead. Seems like I made the right choice. I wanted to hit her, wanted to make her hurt the way Marcus had hurt, the way the whole team had hurt. But that's what she wanted. She was probing for emotional reactions, trying to control the conversation. Why am I here, Sarah? You didn't arrange this meeting for banter. I want to know what you know, what evidence you have, who you've told. Her smile faded. And I want you to understand that you can't win, that your little alliance with Lee Min-ho is going to get you both killed. Is that a threat? It's a fact. Reeves has authorized termination with extreme prejudice. Not just you, everyone connected to you, Min-ho, his people. That sweet grandmother sheltering you in Hongdae district. My blood went cold. She knew about Halmoni. Sarah saw my reaction and smiled. Did you think we wouldn't find her? Jai Woo is good at keeping secrets, but nobody's perfect. We've had eyes on that apartment since 3 this morning. You're bluffing. Am I? Check your phone. I sent you a photo 5 minutes ago. I pulled out my phone. New message. Photo attached. Halmoni's building. Halmoni at her window, visible in the early morning light. If you touch her, you'll what? You're outnumbered, outgunned, and running out of time. Sarah stood up. Here's the deal. You tell me what evidence you have against Reeves. You confirm nobody else knows about the weapons program, and I let your new friends live. You, unfortunately, are still marked for termination, but at least you can die knowing you saved someone. Like you saved Marcus, like you saved the team. I did save someone, myself. Sometimes that's the best you can do. I stood slowly, calculating angles and distances. 3 watchers visible, probably 6 more hidden. Sarah's main team would be close, ready to move. This was the moment. Fight or comply. I need proof Kai-jun and the others are alive, I said. Of course. She pulled out her phone, played a video. Kai-jun, the other captured guards, all alive, all showing signs of torture but conscious. Satisfied. Where are you holding them? Warehouse in Guro district. Industrial area, very private. They're being well cared for considering. She was lying. The background in the video showed concrete walls with specific markings I recognized. Not Guro district, somewhere else. But where? So what's it going to be, Alex? Save your friends or die trying to be a hero? Those aren't mutually exclusive in my experience. I moved. Not toward Sarah, she'd expect that. Instead, I dropped and rolled toward the pond, pulling my concealed weapon and firing 3 shots at the nearest watcher. He went down. The park erupted into chaos. Sarah's team opened fire. Bullets chewed through the pavilion where I'd been standing. Civilians screamed and ran. I used the panic as cover, sprinting toward the tree line. All units, target is mobile, Sarah's voice, cold and professional. Intercept and eliminate. Jai Woo's voice in my earpiece. Alex, I'm coming in hot. North entrance, 30 seconds. Negative, 2 exposed. Swing around to the service road. I'll meet you there. There are 3 hostiles between you and that road. Then I'll make it 2. I came around a tree and found a watcher trying to flank me. Hand to hand, quick and brutal. He went down hard. More gunfire. A bullet clipped the tree next to my head. Sarah herself, advancing with a precision rifle. She'd always been the best shot on the team. I couldn't outrun her, couldn't outshoot her in an open park. I needed an advantage. The pond. I ran toward it, hearing Sarah curse behind me. She knew what I was planning. The water wasn't deep, but it was murky, full of decorative plants and rocks. Perfect concealment. I dove in just as her next shot rang out. The bullet passed through where my head had been. Underwater, I swam hard toward the far side, my injured shoulder screaming. Surfaced behind a decorative fountain. Jai Woo's van was visible now, racing toward the service road. 50 meters. Might as well have been 50 miles with Sarah's team between us. Then Minho's voice in my earpiece. Alex, I'm inbound with Commander Park's security detail. Hold position for 30 seconds. What? You're supposed to be. Plans change. We're coming in hot. 2 black SUVs roared into the park from the west entrance, scattering Sarah's outer perimeter team. Min-ho leaned out the passenger window, firing controlled bursts that forced Sarah's snipers to relocate. Commander Park's men were with him, at least 8 heavily armed guards laying down suppressing fire. This wasn't the plan, I shouted into the comm. Plans change, Min-ho repeated. Park is with us now. He saw through De Young's lies. Move toward us, we'll cover you. I didn't have a choice. Sarah's team was regrouping, and I was exposed. I sprinted from the fountain toward Min-ho's position, keeping low, using every bit of cover available. Bullets kicked up dirt around my feet. Sarah's voice cut through the chaos. Fall back, tactical retreat now. She was smart enough to know when to disengage. Her team melted away with professional efficiency, disappearing into the city before police sirens even started wailing in the distance. I reached Min Ho's SUV and dove into the back. Drive. Commander Park's driver didn't need to be told twice. We peeled out of the park, leaving chaos and confused civilians behind. Park himself sat across from me, a weathered man in his 50s with sharp eyes. "So you're the one who saved Mr. Lee," he said in accented English. "The ghost soldier." "Just someone who was in the wrong place at the wrong time." Or the right place at the right time, depending on perspective. Park studied me with interest. "Mr. Lee tells me you're fighting the same enemies we are, that you have experience dealing with people like De Jong and his foreign backers." "What convinced you to switch sides?" I asked. "De Jong made a mistake. He threatened my grandson, said if I didn't support him fully, the boy would have an accident." Park's expression hardened. "My loyalty can be bought, intimidated, negotiated, but my family is sacred. The moment he threatened my blood, he made an enemy." "There'll be others who feel the same way," Min Ho said. "We just need to find them before tonight's ceremony." "About that," I said. "Sarah mentioned foreign advisors backing De Jong. Any idea who they really are?" Park and Min Ho exchanged glances. "We have suspicions," Park said carefully, "but no proof. There have been whispers of a Chinese intelligence operation trying to gain influence in Seoul's underworld, using De Jong as their puppet." "Chinese intelligence working with American black ops," I frowned. "That's an unlikely alliance." "Unless they're not working together," Min Ho said slowly. "Unless they're both trying to control the situation independently. Sarah wants you dead for Reeves. The Chinese want De Jong in power for their own reasons. They're parallel operations that happen to benefit each other." That made more sense. Two separate agendas, temporarily aligned, which meant twice the enemies and twice the complications. "We need to know where Sarah is holding Kai Jun and the others," I said. "I saw the video background. Concrete walls with specific paint markings. Industrial area but not Guro district like she claimed." "Can Ghost analyze the video?" Min Ho asked. "Already sent it to him. He's running image recognition against city records now." I checked my phone. New message from Ghost. "He's got something. 3 possible locations based on the wall patterns, all within 5 miles of here." "We don't have time to check all 3 before the ceremony," Park said. "Then we split up. 3 teams, 3 locations, simultaneous hits." I looked at Min Ho. "You and Park take teams to 2 locations. I'll take Jai Woo and hit the 3rd. That spreads us thin. It also triples our chances of finding them in time." I pulled up the locations on my phone. "This one, the old textile factory in Yeongdeungpo district. That's my target. The walls match perfectly." Min Ho studied the image. "If you're wrong." "Then Kai Jun and the others stay prisoners, and we lose leverage against Sarah. But if I'm right, we rescue them and have them back for the De Jong confrontation tonight. And if Sarah's waiting there, if it's a trap?" "Then I handle it." I met his eyes. "This is what I do, Min Ho. This is what I was trained for, trust me." He did. I could see it in his face. This man who'd known me less than 24 hours trusted me with the lives of his people. That trust was terrifying and empowering in equal measure. "Okay," he said. "We hit all 3 locations in 2 hours. Synchronized assault. Ghost coordinates timing. If you find them, signal immediately. If it's a trap, fall back, don't play hero." Heroes get everyone killed. I'm just trying to survive. We split up at the next intersection. Park's team headed south, Min Ho's team west, and Jai Woo drove me east toward Yeongdeungpo. The kid was pale but steady, hands firm on the wheel. "You think they're really there?" he asked. "The walls match. The lighting is consistent with ground floor industrial. It's our best bet." I checked my weapons, my gear. "But yeah, there's a chance Sarah fed us false information. Let me walk into a trap." "Then why are we going?" "Because Kai Jun is 23. Because he's got a sister who needs him. Because if there's even a 10% chance he's there, I have to take it." I looked at Jai Woo. "That's the problem with caring about people. It makes you take stupid risks. Halmoni says caring about people is what makes us human. Your grandmother is a wise woman. She's also someone Sarah knows about. We need to move her after this. Somewhere completely off-grid. Already arranged. Park is sending a protection detail to relocate her within the hour. Smart. Park was proving useful already. We reached Yongdyungpo just after 1 p.m. The textile factory was exactly what I expected. Abandoned, industrial, perfect for holding prisoners. Too perfect. This feels wrong, Jaiwoo said. Everything about this situation feels wrong. That's how we know we're on the right track. I pulled on tactical gloves. Stay with the vehicle, engine running. If I'm not back in 15 minutes, leave. I'm not leaving you. Yes, you are, because if this goes bad, Min-ho needs you alive. Park needs you. The resistance against De Young needs you. I gripped his shoulder. I'm expendable, you're not, understand. He didn't like it, but he nodded. I approached the factory from the east side, using shadows and industrial debris for cover. No external guards visible, which was either very good or very bad. The main entrance was chained but unlocked. Deliberate. Inside, the factory was dark and silent. Dust motes floated in shafts of afternoon sunlight cutting through broken windows. My footsteps echoed on concrete. Too quiet. Way too quiet. Then I heard it. Breathing. Multiple people trying to stay silent. I moved toward the sound, weapon up, every sense on high alert. Found a door leading to a basement level. The breathing was coming from down there. Kai-jun, I called softly. It's Alex Chen. I'm here with Lee Min-ho. If you can hear me, make a sound. A muffled thump. Someone kicking something. Confirmation. I descended the stairs slowly, checking for tripwires, pressure plates, any indication of a trap. Nothing. The basement opened into a large room, and there they were. Kai-jun and 3 other guards, tied to chairs, gagged but alive. Too easy. Way too easy. I checked the room quickly. No obvious secondary threats. No hidden shooters. Just 4 prisoners who looked like they'd been through hell but were conscious and aware. I approached Kai-jun first, cutting his bonds. Where's Sarah? Where's her team? He pulled the gag from his mouth, gasping. Gone. They left an hour ago. Said they had more important things to deal with. Just left us here. That doesn't make sense. Why abandon leverage? I don't know, but they were in a hurry. Something had them spooked. I freed the other 3 guards while my mind raced. Sarah didn't spook easily. What could have changed in the last hour? My phone buzzed. Text from Ghost marked urgent. Major development. Chinese intelligence team just raided De Young's headquarters. Reports of heavy gunfire. De Young's location unknown. Min-ho's trying to reach you. I called Min-ho immediately. What's happening? The Chinese moved early. They're not waiting for tonight's ceremony. They're taking De Young's territory by force right now. His voice was strained. This changes everything. Where are you? Pulling back from the second prisoner location. No one was there. Alex, I think Sarah knew about the Chinese operation. I think she pulled out to avoid getting caught in the crossfire. That made terrible sense. Sarah was CIA, operating off-book in a foreign country. The last thing she needed was to get involved in an open conflict with Chinese intelligence on Korean soil. So we have a 3-way war now, I said. De Young's faction, the Chinese, and us. 4-way, Sarah's still hunting you. She's just being selective about timing. Perfect. Love how this day keeps getting better. I looked at Kai-jun and the freed guards. I've got our people. They're alive and mobile. What's the play? The ceremony is still happening. 6 p.m. at De Young's compound. He's going ahead with it despite the Chinese raid, maybe because of it, trying to show strength. Min-ho paused. This is our moment, Alex. He'll be exposed, surrounded by wavering commanders, if we're going to make our move. It's now or never. Before you find out what happens next, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Drop a comment telling me which character you're most invested in. And share this with anyone who loves action-packed stories. Now let's see how this all plays out. We're coming to you, I said. Where do we regroup? Park's safe house in Gangnam. It's fortified, and we have 8 loyal soldiers here plus Park's personal guard. That gives us maybe 20 fighters total. Against how many of De Young's people? At the compound tonight, 50, maybe 60, but they're divided. Some are loyal to De Young, some are scared, some are opportunistic. Min Ho's voice hardened with determination. We don't need to fight them all. We just need to expose De Young as a traitor working with foreign powers. Turn his own people against him. And if that doesn't work, then we fight our way out and try again tomorrow. I like how you think tomorrow is guaranteed. It's not, but I'm optimistic. We reached Park's safe house by 2 p.m. It was a converted restaurant with reinforced walls, multiple exits, and a basement armory that would make most military units jealous. Min Ho and Park had been busy. "Welcome back," Min Ho said as I entered with the freed prisoners. Kai Jun immediately went to him, bowing deeply. "Sir, I'm sorry. I let them capture me. I failed." "You survived. You held out. You gave us nothing." Min Ho gripped the young man's shoulders. "You didn't fail. You succeeded exactly where it mattered." The gratitude in Kai Jun's eyes was painful to watch. This was what loyalty looked like, what real leadership inspired. Park gathered his commanders around a table covered with blueprints and photos of De Young's compound. "We have 4 hours to plan an assault on a fortified position with superior numbers. I've done worse with less, but not by much." "We're not assaulting," I said. "We're infiltrating. There's a difference." "Explain." I pointed to the compound layout. De Young is holding a ceremony. That means guests, witnesses, people from outside his normal security circle. We use that. We blend in as loyalists coming to pledge allegiance. "He'll recognize us," one of Park's men said. "He'll recognize Min Ho and Park, not the rest of us." I looked at Kai Jun and the other freed prisoners. "You 4 were captured. De Young doesn't know you're free. You walk in like nothing happened, like you're there to report on Min Ho's death." Kai Jun's eyes widened. "You want us to pretend we killed Mr. Lee?" "I want you to create chaos, confusion, make De Young think he's won, get close to him." I met Min Ho's gaze. "While De Young's distracted by false victory, we present the real evidence of his betrayal. Show everyone he's working with Chinese intelligence, that he sold out Korean sovereignty for foreign backing." "What evidence?" Park asked. "We have suspicions, not proof." "Ghost," I said into my comm. "Tell me you found something." The hacker's distorted voice came through. "I've been digging into De Young's finances. Found wire transfers from a shell company linked to Chinese MSS. 40 million won over 6 months. Also intercepted communications between De Young and someone called Beijing Tiger. The conversations are coded, but clearly show coordination. Can you display this at the compound? Hack their presentation system?" "If they're connected to any network, yes. But I'll need someone inside to give me physical access to their router." "I can do that," Jai-woo said. "I know the compound layout. I can reach their communications room." "Too dangerous," Min Ho said immediately. "Everything about this is dangerous. Let me help." Jai-woo's young face was determined. "Sang Min died protecting us. Let me honor that sacrifice by finishing what we started." Min Ho looked at me. I saw the conflict in his eyes, the desire to protect Warring with the reality of our situation. "He's trained," I said quietly. "He's capable, and we need someone inside who isn't a known target." "Fine, but you go in pairs. Jai-woo and Kai Jun together." The 2 young men nodded, already checking their gear. "What about Sarah?" Park asked. "If she shows up during this operation, everything falls apart." "Sarah's lying low until the Chinese situation resolves. She won't risk exposure in a 3-way conflict." I hoped I was right. "But we need early warning systems. Ghost, can you monitor police and intelligence frequencies? Give us heads up if CIA or Chinese teams are mobilizing." "Already on it. I'm also tracking Sarah's known vehicles and safe houses. If she moves, you'll know." We spent the next 2 hours planning every detail. Entry points, extraction routes, contingencies for when everything went wrong. Because something always went wrong. At 4 p.m., Halmoni arrived with Park's protection detail. She'd been relocated to a secure apartment, but insisted on seeing Jai Woo before the operation. "Grandmother, you shouldn't be here," Jai Woo protested. "Nonsense, I'm old, not dead." She cupped his face in her weathered hands. "You're going into danger. You think I'll let you go without a proper goodbye?" "We'll be careful." "Careful is for people who have time. You have courage, which is better." She turned to me. "You, the ghost soldier." "Yes, ma'am." "My grandson follows you into battle tonight. If he dies, it should mean something. Make sure it means something." The weight of her words settled on my shoulders like physical force. "I promise he won't die. None of them will." "Don't make promises you can't keep. Just make sure their sacrifice isn't wasted if it comes to that." She pressed something into my hand, a small jade pendant. "For luck. It kept me alive through 2 wars. Maybe it'll do the same for you." I closed my fingers around it, unable to speak. At 5 p.m., we moved out. 3 vehicles, 20 fighters, and a plan that had maybe a 30% chance of success. I'd worked with worse odds. Min Ho rode with me in the lead vehicle. We were both dressed in dark suits, looking more like businessmen than soldiers. That was the point. Blend in until the moment to strike. "You know this might be the last conversation we have," Min Ho said quietly. Optimistic as always. Realistic. If this goes wrong, if De Jong has more security than we expect, if Sarah shows up anyway. He didn't finish. Didn't need to. "Then we fight our way out. We've done it before." "You've done it before. I'm just a businessman pretending to be a warrior." "You killed 2 traitors in the opening ambush without hesitation. You coordinated a tactical retreat under fire. You've earned 3 allies and planned a coup in less than 24 hours. I looked at him. "You're not pretending anything. You're the real thing, whether you accept it or not." Is that supposed to be encouraging? It's supposed to be honest. We reached the compound at 5:45. The area was busy with arriving guests. Armed guards checking credentials, an atmosphere of nervous celebration. De Jong's people thought they'd won. That would be their mistake. Jai Woo and Kai Jun went in first, playing their roles as captured guards now freed and returning. They disappeared into the crowd without incident. Phase 1 complete. Park's men entered next in small groups, spacing themselves throughout the compound. Positioning, preparing. Finally, Min Ho and I approached the main gate. The guard recognized Min Ho immediately. His weapon came up, shock and fear crossing his face. "Mr. Lee, but you're supposed to be." "Dead," Min Ho smiled coldly. "Reports of my demise were greatly exaggerated. I'm here to see De Jong. Tell him I've come to discuss the terms of my surrender." The guard hesitated, speaking urgently into his radio. 30 seconds later, orders came back. "Mr. De Jong will see you, but you'll be searched and escorted." Of course, I understand the precautions. They took our visible weapons, but missed the ceramic blade I had taped to my ankle, and the small pistol Min Ho kept in a custom holster they didn't check thoroughly. Amateurs. We were escorted into the compound's main hall. It was opulent, expensive, decorated for a celebration. At least 50 of De Jong's people filled the space, all armed, all watching us with predatory interest. And at the center, standing at a podium prepared for his victory speech, was Cho De Jong himself. He was younger than I expected, mid-40s, with sharp features and calculating eyes. When he saw Min Ho, his expression flickered between surprise and triumph. "Lee Min Ho, I must admit, I didn't expect you to deliver yourself to me quite so efficiently." De Jong's voice carried across the hall, silencing conversations. "Have you come to beg for your life?" "I've come to expose you for what you are," Min Ho said calmly. "A traitor who sold out his own people to foreign interests. Careful with accusations you can't prove." "Can't I?" Min Ho gestured, and suddenly the large screens throughout the hall flickered to life. Ghost's work. Jai Woo must have reached the communications room. Financial records appeared on screen. Wire transfers. Communication logs. Photos of De Jong meeting with known Chinese intelligence officers. The evidence was damning, undeniable. The hall erupted into chaos. Commanders started shouting, demanding explanations. De Jong's face went white, then red with rage. This is fabricated, lies designed to discredit me. 40 million won from MSS front companies, Min Ho's voice cut through the noise. 6 months of communication with Beijing Tiger, code name for Colonel Zhang Wei, Chinese military intelligence. You didn't just betray me, De Jong. You betrayed Korea itself. You can't prove those communications are mine. Voice analysis says otherwise. Ghost had thought of everything. 97% match. The recordings are authentic. I watched the commanders' faces, saw doubt spreading like poison, saw loyalty crumbling. This was the moment. Then De Jong made his move, fast and desperate. He pulled a pistol from inside his jacket, aiming at Min Ho. I was faster. The ceramic blade was in my hand and flying before De Jong's finger reached the trigger. It buried itself in his shoulder, spinning him around. His shot went wild, hitting the ceiling. Security erupted, guns drawn everywhere. But the guards were confused, divided. Who were they supposed to shoot? Their betrayed leader Min Ho or their exposed traitor De Jong? Commander Park stepped forward, his own weapon aimed at De Jong. Stand down, all of you, this ends now. Park, you're siding with him. Another commander, someone I didn't recognize, moved to De Jong's defense. After everything we've built. We built it on lies, Park shouted. On foreign money and betrayal. This isn't about loyalty to leaders. It's about loyalty to each other, to our brothers, to Korea. The hall was splitting. I could see it happening in real time. Half the people were moving toward Min Ho and Park, the other half rallying around De Jong despite the evidence. This was about to become a bloodbath. Then the front doors exploded inward. Chinese tactical team, 12 operators, military precision. They stormed in with automatic weapons, firing at anyone who moved. This wasn't a raid. This was a massacre. Everyone down, I shouted, pulling Min Ho behind a marble pillar as bullets chewed through the decorative space. De Jong's people and Min Ho's people both scrambled for cover, years of rivalry forgotten in the face of foreign invasion. The enemy of my enemy logic played out in real time. The Chinese team leader shouted in Mandarin, "Cho De Jong, you have failed your obligations. Beijing sends its regards." They'd come to eliminate their liability. De Jong had outlived his usefulness, and the Chinese were cleaning house. De Jong returned fire, his personal guards forming a protective circle. It was surreal, watching the man who'd tried to kill us 30 minutes ago now fighting the same enemies we were. "What's the play?" Min Ho shouted over the gunfire. "We survive first, sort out politics later." I fired at a Chinese operator trying to flank our position. "Jai Wu, Kai Jun, status." Still in the communications room, Jai Wu's voice crackled with static and fear. "They haven't found us yet, but we're trapped." "Stay hidden, we'll come to you." Another explosion, smaller but closer. The Chinese were using flashbangs, systematically clearing the room, professional, efficient, deadly. Then I heard a voice that made my blood freeze. "Well, this is certainly more exciting than I expected." Sarah Chen stepped through the smoke, weapon drawn, looking utterly calm despite the chaos. She'd come after all. "Hello, Alex, miss me." Sarah moved through the firefight like she owned it, her weapon tracking targets with casual precision. She dropped 2 of De Jong's guards who tried to flank her position, then turned her attention to the Chinese team. "Chen," the Chinese team leader said in English, "CIA has no jurisdiction here." "Neither do you technically, but here we are," Sarah smiled. "How about we all just kill each other and let the diplomats sort it out later?" "Sarah, what are you doing?" I shouted over the chaos. "My job just got complicated. Director Reeves wants you dead, but he wants it quiet. This," she gestured at the war zone around us, "is not quiet, so I'm improvising." She fired 3 quick shots, taking down a Chinese operator who'd gotten too close to Min Ho's position. "You're welcome, by the way." "I didn't ask for your help." "No, but Lee Min Ho is more useful alive than dead. At least for the next 10 minutes. She moved closer, using the same marble pillar for cover. The Chinese are here to eliminate witnesses. That includes all of us. Temporary alliance, Alex, just like old times. I hated that she was right. I hated everything about this situation. But survival meant accepting help from devils you knew. Fine, temporary. The second this is over. We go back to trying to kill each other. I know the drill. Sarah reloaded with practiced efficiency. The Chinese have reinforcements coming. 12 more operators 3 minutes out. We need to collapse this situation fast. How do you know that? Because I've been monitoring their communications all day. I'm good at my job, Alex. You always forgot that. Min-ho grabbed my arm. If we're working with her, we need a plan. Now. I thought fast, calculating odds and angles. Sarah, can you reach the Chinese team leader? Offer terms. What terms? They're here to execute everyone. Then we make it costly. Park, I shouted across the hall. The commander looked over from his position. Concentrate fire on their left flank. Push them back toward the eastern entrance. Park didn't question, just started shouting orders in Korean. His men and several of de Jong's guards who'd realized the common threat started coordinating fire. Decades of training and brotherhood overriding politics. The Chinese team was professional, but not expecting organized resistance. They started taking casualties, pulling back toward their entry point. Jai Wu still with me, I called into my comm. Here, we can see everything from the security monitors. Alex, there's a problem. The Chinese have vehicles blocking all ground exits. Even if we win this fight, we're trapped. Rooftop, Sarah said. There's a helipad on the northeast corner. I've got extraction standing by. You just happen to have a helicopter ready. I told you I'm good at my job. It seats 8. You, me, Min-ho, and 5 others. Choose wisely. The math was brutal. 20 of our people, only 8 could escape via helicopter. The rest would have to fight their way out on foot or surrender to Chinese intelligence. That's not acceptable, Min-ho said flatly. I'm not leaving my people. Then you'll die with them, noble but stupid. De Jong, bleeding from his shoulder wound, had managed to rally a defensive position near the main stage. He caught Min-ho's eye across the chaos, and something passed between them. Understanding, maybe, or just shared hatred of foreign invasion. Chen, De Jong shouted. Lee, we finish our business after we deal with these bastards. Agreed, Min-ho shouted back. It was insane. 2 men who'd tried to kill each other hours ago, now fighting side by side. War made strange allies. The Chinese team leader recognized the shifting dynamic. He barked orders and his team shifted tactics, pulling back fully to regroup. But they weren't retreating. They were preparing for the reinforcements Sarah had mentioned. 3 minutes just became 2, Sarah said, checking her phone. Whatever we're doing, decide now. Ghost, I called. Can you access building systems, fire suppression, electrical, anything? Already ahead of you. I can trigger the sprinkler system, kill the lights, and seal the main gates. That'll buy maybe 5 minutes. Do it, all of it. The building plunged into darkness. Emergency lighting kicked in seconds later, but the disorienting effect had served its purpose. Then the sprinklers activated, soaking everything and everyone. Now, I shouted. Everyone move to the communications room. Jai Wu, guide us. Follow the eastern corridor. Take the second left, 3rd door on the right. We moved as a group, covering each other's retreat. Park's men, Min-ho's loyalists, even several of de Jong's guards who'd realized they had no better option. The Chinese tried to pursue, but the wet floors and darkness slowed them. We reached the communications room. Jai Wu and Kai Jun had barricaded themselves well. There's a service tunnel behind this room, Jai Wu said. Leads to the underground parking structure. Ghost found it in the building plans. That's our exit, Min-ho said. Everyone through now. We filed into the tunnel, a tight concrete passage barely wide enough for single file. I took rear guard with Sarah, both of us covering the entrance as our people evacuated. You know this doesn't change anything between us, Sarah said. I know, you're still a traitor. You still got my team killed. And you're still marked for death. Director Reeves doesn't forgive, doesn't forget. She fired at movement in the doorway. But for what it's worth, I never wanted it to go down the way it did. In Afghanistan. Save it. Your regrets don't bring Marcus back. No, they don't. Something flickered in her expression. Almost human, almost genuine. He really did love you, you know, more than just partners. He talked about you constantly. Made me promise if anything happened to him, I'd look out for you. Great job on that promise. Yeah, well, I'm looking out for you now, sort of. The last of our people disappeared into the tunnel. Time to move. After you, Sarah said. So you can shoot me in the back. If I wanted you dead right now, Alex, you'd be dead. Go. I'll cover the retreat for 30 more seconds, then I'm gone. Our temporary alliance expires when I leave this room. I didn't trust her, didn't believe her sudden conscience. But I also didn't have a choice. I backed into the tunnel, weapon still trained on her position. She kept her word. Fired controlled bursts at pursuing Chinese operators, then disappeared in the opposite direction, vanishing into the compound like smoke. The tunnel led exactly where Jai Wu promised. Underground parking, our vehicles still intact. We piled in, wounded and exhausted, 50 people crammed into vehicles meant for 30. Ghost routes, Min Ho shouted. Take the southern service road. Chinese are blocking main exits, but they haven't reached that position yet. 90-second window, move now. We moved. 3 vehicles screaming through underground passages, emerging into Seoul's evening traffic with Chinese tactical teams seconds behind us. But we'd made it. Against impossible odds, against betrayal and foreign invasion and our own conflicts, we'd survived. I looked at Min Ho in the seat beside me. Blood on his face, exhaustion in his eyes, but alive, determined. De Young, I asked. Last I saw, he was fighting toward the rear exit. If he made it out, Min Ho shook his head. We'll deal with him another day. Today we exposed his betrayal. Showed everyone who he really was. That's victory enough. The Chinese will come after us, and Sarah's still hunting me. Then we prepare, we build alliances, we get stronger. He gripped my good shoulder. You saved my life today multiple times, I won't forget that. You saved mine too. Guess we're even. Not even close, but it's a start. We drove through Seoul as night fell, the city lights spreading below us like captured stars. Somewhere behind us, Chinese intelligence was regrouping. Somewhere out there, Sarah Chen was planning her next move. And somewhere in Virginia, director James Reeves was learning that the ghost he'd tried to bury was very much alive and coming for him. But right now, in this moment, I was alive. The people I'd tried to protect were alive. Kai Jun was calling his sister, voice breaking with relief. Jai Wu was checking on his grandmother. Commander Park was coordinating with his remaining loyal forces. Life, continuing despite everything. Alex, Min Ho said quietly, what you said earlier, about everyone you try to save ending up dead, that's not true, not today. Today's not over yet. No, but we're winning. Against impossible odds, we're actually winning. He smiled, exhausted but genuine. Thank you for not running, for staying and fighting. I touched the jade pendant Halmoni had given me, still warm against my palm. Someone once told me that caring about people is what makes us human. Figured I'd try being human again, see how it works out. How's it working so far? Painful, terrifying, worth it. I looked at the people around us, wounded but alive, scared but together. Yeah, worth it. We reached Park's secondary safe house as full darkness settled over the city. Tomorrow would bring new threats, new challenges. Sarah would come for me again. The Chinese would retaliate. Reeves would escalate. And De Young, if he'd survived, would be planning revenge. But tomorrow was tomorrow. Tonight, we'd won. Against every odd, against every expectation, against the darkness that tried to swallow us. Tonight, we were alive. And sometimes, that was the only victory that mattered. If you made it this far, you're the real MVP. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and drop a comment telling me what you think happens next in Alex's journey. Should she go after Reeves? Face Sarah one final time. Help Minho rebuild his organization. Let me know below. Until next video, stay strong, stay brave, and remember that sometimes the only way to survive is to fight back.